Alright guys, it's planetburst13 here, and I just wanted to give you guys a tour of some of my decks in this Yu-Gi-Oh game that I have that I love. But first, this is probably going to be the only deck I describe because it is my favorite, and it is now, I think, at its maximum potential, at least with the cards I have right now. It is my Blue Eyes deck. And crap. And I will tell you why. See, my Blue Eyes deck mainly runs off the graveyard. I have my 3 Dragon Shrines, and I also have my 3 Silver Cries. Now, the effect of Dragon Shrine obviously lets me send 2 Dragon-type monsters to the graveyard. And I would obviously just use Silver Cry to bring them back. See, Silver's Cry is a quick play, so that's always a good thing. Quick plays are good. Then if I get a Blue Eyes White Dragon in my hand, I have no other way to summon it. I have my 2 ancient rules just in case. And it allows you to special summon one level 5 or higher monster from your hand, normal monster from your hand. Thank God that Blue Eyes White Dragon is the highest attack normal monster in the game, and I think it has been since its creation. And then there's Dragon Shrine, which this is obviously if you have a Blue Eyes deck, you're going to have Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon if you have 3 Blue Eyes in your deck. And Dragon's Mirror allows me to fusion summon Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon from my graveyard as well as my hand or on the field. See, it says fusion summon 1 dragon type fusion monster from your extra deck by banishing fusion material listed on it from your field or the graveyard. So if I have all 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons in my graveyard, I can just throw out this little guy and summon Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. People just love that. And then I have my 3 Luminous Sparks to buff my Blue Eyes by 500 and it decreased its defense by 400. 2 Polys, obviously. A Regeki, just in case I think the opponent's monsters are too strong. Again, my 3 Silver's Cries, my Spell Shattering Arrows, because I don't like certain things like, well, field spells. I don't like field spells that the other person has. I don't like them, so forget about it. Summoner's Art to get a Blue Eyes from my deck to my hand. Swords of Revealing Light to buy a little time. If you know anything about Yu-Gi-Oh, you know what Swords does. My anti-Regeki, just to piss people off. 2 Call of the Haunted, again, to get my Blue Eyes out of my graveyard. Crush Card Virus, probably my favorite trap card. This card, if I tribute a monster with, I believe it's 1,000 or less, or is it? Yeah, 1,000 or less attack. If I tribute a dark monster with 1,000 less attack, it allows me to destroy all the cards on the field that are above 1,500, all the cards in my opponent's hand that are above 1,500, and they have the option to destroy 3 cards in their deck above 1,500. So this card right here is just, you don't want to see that card, period. Then of course you got Magic Cylinder. Attack me all you want with this card, I'll throw it back at you. Magic Jammer, just to stop that Regeki, or just a double summon or anything like that. Just stop those. Mirror Force, Regeki Break, discard 1 card, target 1 card on the field and destroy it, self-explanatory. Triple Blue Eyes, Divine Dragon of Ragnarok. And another thing you gotta know about this deck, that most of my monsters are light. Most of them are light monsters, and that is to go with Luminous Spark, because it increases attack of all light monsters by 500. So I have my triple Blue Eyes, double Dragon Ragnaroks, Elemental Hero Sparkman, another light monster, tuners. This is I have a lot of tuners in this deck, and the reason is for my synchro monsters, which we'll get into later. And they're really the only, well, that besides Sagi, they're my only things that aren't light type. And plus has 2,000 defense just to stall, just to get my Blue Eyes out. And I have 2 of those, and my Sagis, that is basically only for Crush Card. That's the only reason why I have them in my deck. I have a triple Cyber Dragon, because if my opponent has if I have no monsters and my opponent does, I can just special summon this guy straight from my hand. Come on, it's a great effect. Then I have another Cyber Dragon. Don't really care what it does. It's just because it's a light monster. My 2 Maidens. And if you know anything about Blue Eyes decks, this card is probably the most important card. If a card effect targets this card, I can summon a Blue Eyes from my hand, deck, or graveyard. If this card is attacked, I can switch it to defense position, negate the attack, and summon a Blue Eyes White Dragon from my hand, deck, or graveyard. I mean, come on. Self-explanatory. And I have this new guy. Now I have to read it because I really don't know too much about him. It's a protector with the Eyes of Blue, and Eyes of Blue is just something that I like. It says, when this card is normal summoned, you can special summon one level 1 light tuner monster from your hand. So that allows me to get my Maiden, or my White Tuner Legend, which is awesome. You can target one effect monster you control, send it to the graveyard, and if you do, special summon one Blue Eyes monster from your hand. Now that says Blue Eyes monster. It does not have to be a tuner or anything like that. I can just summon Blue Eyes White Dragon, which is awesome. You can only use the effect of Protector with the Eyes of Blue once per turn. Okay, so it's not really that broken, but it's still a good card. And the White Stone of Legend, if you know anything about Blue Eyes decks, you know what this card does. If this card is sent to the graveyard, add one Blue Eyes White Dragon from your deck to your hand. I mean, come on, obviously. And then, going from the Synchro all the way to the Fusion, I have my Red Dragon Archfiend. And this is where the tuners come in. And basically what you do what the card says, and you sacrifice tuners and monsters to add up to the level of stars that card has. So after damage calculation, if this card attacks a defense position monster your opponent controls, destroy all defense position monsters your opponent controls. During your end phase, destroy all other monsters you control that did not declare an attack this turn. This card must be face up on the field to activate and resolve this effect. So, good and bad. It's kind of basically to get me out of a jam, because like I said, my Blue Eyes deck runs off of my graveyard, so more Blue Eyes in the graveyard, better for me. And then there's this card. One tuner, one or more non-tuner monsters, again, just equal to level of stars. Once per turn, during your opponent's standby phase, you can inflict 300 damage to your opponent for each card your opponent controls. Each time your opponent sets a spell or trap cards, inflict 300 damage to your opponent. I meant broken. Then there's this card, which I love. It's not Black Rose Dragon, it's Black Rose Moonlight Dragon. Wish I had Black Rose Dragon, I just haven't found it yet. Still, it's a good card. If this card is special summoned, or a level 5 or higher monsters is special summoned to your opponent's side of the field, target one special summoned monster your opponent controls, return that target to the hand. You only use the effect of Black Rose Moonlight Dragon once per turn, so it's a good bounce card. Like if you have someone that likes to special summon a lot, like somebody that likes to use Necrofear, hint hint, just bounce that sucker right back to their hand. And Azure Eyes Silver Dragon, again, freaking basic Blue Eyes White Dragon deck. It's if this card special summoned, Dragon type monsters you currently control cannot be targeted or destroyed by card effects until the end of the next turn. Once per turn during your standby phase, you can target one normal monster into your graveyard, special summon that target. Again, Blue Eyes, Blue Eyes, Blue Eyes, Blue Eyes, Blue Eyes. And I got two of those. First of Dragons. If you have a deck in this game, if you have any type of deck, and you want something in your extra deck, have this card. Just for the simple fact that it only takes two normal monsters. That's it. Just two normal monsters. It doesn't matter what they are as long as they're normal monsters. Must be fusion summoned and cannot be special summoned by other ways. You can only control one First of Dragons. This card cannot be destroyed by battle except by battle with a normal monster and is unaffected by other monsters' effects. Come on, it's a 2700 beat stick. I mean, just go with it. And of course, you can't have 3 Cyber Dragons in your deck without having Cyber and Dragon. It takes 3 Cyber Dragons to summon it. A fusion summon of this card can only be done with the above fusion material monsters. If this card attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage to your opponent. Come on. 4,000. Luminous Spark on the field, 4,500. Can't beat it. And then you have the meta, the Omega, the best fusion monster in the world as far as I'm concerned. But there's one card that beats it, and we'll get to it. 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons, 4,500 attack, 3,800 defense, Luminous Spark on the field. That's a 5,000 attack monster. Come on. What more do I need to explain? Then, my favorite fusion monster in the world, the Blue Eyes Twin Burst Dragon. Now I'm going to read this word for word so you can just soak up the effect of this monster. Must be either fusion summoned or special summoned by sending the above monsters you control to the graveyard, in which case you do not use polymerization. Let me say that again. In which case you do not use polymerization. And cannot be special summoned by other ways. Cannot be destroyed by battle. This card can make up to 2 attacks on monsters during each battle phase at the end of the damage step. When this card attacks an opponent's monster, but the opponent's monster was not destroyed by battle, you can banish that opponent's monster. So beat stick after beat stick after beat stick. Just 3,000, 2,500. It's like having 2 Blue Eyes White Dragons on the field with an awesome effect. It's just crazy. Luminous Spark, 3,500. Self-explanatory. And that's going to be the end of this video. I'll upload another video of this deck in action, and you'll see the devastation it causes. Alright, well, subscribe as always, share the video, drop a like. This is Planet Burst, signing out. Peace.